Hey guys, it's Em, and I'm going to be showing you how to make awesome banana bread. This recipe is by Martha Stewart, and the link will be in the description box below. So you will need half a cup of flour. I put it in the bowl for the dry ingredients. Half a cup of butter plus extra for greasing your baking pan. Half a cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I'm using salted butter, but if you're using unsalted butter, you will need 1 teaspoon, 1 cup of bananas. I have 3. I'm going to use as many as I need. They have to be very ripe. Half a cup of sour cream. I'm using Greek yogurt, but it works the same, and it tastes really good, and it's a little bit healthier to use Greek yogurt. Half a teaspoon of vanilla. You can use nuts or chocolate chips if you would like. I'm not. I'm just sticking to plain bananas. And for equipment, you will need 1 mixer. You can see it in the corner. A whisk for your dry ingredients. A rubber spatula to scrape the sides. A fork to mash the bananas. Measuring spoons for everything that you need to measure. You also need 1 of these. I'm using a half a cup for all of it because it's all dry and then wet at the end. So I'm using a half a cup. You can use 1 cup, whatever you would like to use. Just make sure it's exact because it's baking and everything needs to be exact. And you will also need a 9 by 5 by 3 baking dish. And you will grease that with butter. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to start out by greasing my baking dish and set your oven to 350 degrees. So let's grease this. You want to have enough so it won't stick. Here, do this on the whole pan. When you're done greasing your baking pan, it should look like this. And there should be enough butter everywhere, so the wonderful banana bread won't stick and it'll get golden on the sides. We're going to start off with the butter in our KitchenAid mixer, and the butter should be softened enough so when you put your finger in, see the indent, it'll stay and it won't come up. Mine was sitting out for about 45 minutes to an hour. It just has to be very soft. So you're going to add your paddle attachment to your mixer. There, you can see it. And you're going to add the sugar and you're going to cream it together. So when you whip your butter, it has to be very creamed. So there won't be any little chunks of sugar or butter in the mixture. And I'm using my half a cup, so I'm putting in 2. But you want to whip this for a good few minutes till the sugar is fully combined with the butter. When you're beating your mixture, make sure to scrape down the sides so it'll all get incorporated. And you want to keep beating it until it's light and fluffy so it'll mix wonderfully. So I'm going to still beat this a little bit more because it needs to be whipped. It already smells really nice. Okay, so scrape this off. Add it back in and keep whipping it. Your butter and sugar mixture should look like this, like a nice airy cloud mixture. And this is very important in the banana bread mixture batter and in a lot of other different recipes like cake and cookies and a lot of stuff like that. So now we're going to add in our 2 eggs. And this time you don't need to beat as long or on as high of a power, but you're just going to beat it until combined. And when you're done, it should be like more yellowy and not as light. Make sure to break up the yolks, and you can also scrape the sides because this is a very important part in most recipes. You want to make sure everything is well combined. So keep mixing this until it's all combined well. Once your egg mixture is all combined, it's time to work on your dry ingredients. So you're gonna start with the flour and you're gonna whisk it instead of sifting it. You just want to get a little bit of air in there, and you don't want it to be very like clumpy. There. And then you're gonna take your baking soda and you're gonna add that in. So I'm gonna use half a teaspoon because that's what I have out. And make sure to scrape it evenly on the top. I use the top, you can use side or fork or knife, but just make sure it's level. So 1 teaspoon, and then mix that all together. If you were using salt, then you can add that back in now, but since I use salted butter, I'm not gonna use salt because I don't want it to be too salty. But if you're using unsalted butter, then definitely add salt because the salt evens out the flavors and it makes sure it's not too strong of anything. And it tastes, well, it doesn't taste salty at all. There, just make sure this is all combined. And then it's time to add it to the wet ingredients. When you add your flour mixture into your egg and sugar mixture, you have to add it in small amounts. So I'm gonna do it in thirds because you want it to incorporate nicely. So I'm gonna add about 1/3 of this in. There. And you're just gonna mix until it's all combined. It doesn't need to be like a batter like already because you're gonna add the rest in, but just enough so it'll be light and airy and it'll be moist and soft. You don't want it to be dry, so that's why I'm doing it like this. And it's a technique that I learned and I like it. And don't do it too high or else you'll get flour all over you. And then you can turn it up little by little. There, hopefully I don't have flour all over me. So now I'm gonna add the last 1/3 in. Make sure to get everything off of the bowl so you can get stuff on the sides. Don't want to get flour all over me. So now it should start looking more like a cake batter or banana bread batter because it'll start to come together. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. So it's much thicker than before. You can probably see. Should be like this, really nice. But you're probably wondering where the bananas are. So now, let's work on the bananas. So this part is important. I'm doing it now with the same bowl as before because in case there's any little bits, it'll get into the bananas and in the batter. But the reason why I'm not adding them whole and I'm gonna mash them in this bowl is because I don't wanna have the batter over mixed. And this way, it'll be nice and creamy and like it's supposed to. So you don't want it to be too overripe, but it needs to be overripe, but you don't want to have a ton of brown spots. Mine are looking good. They don't have brown spots. So if they do, you can take off that part of the banana. Ooh, they smell so sweet. But you don't want to have like barely ripe. They need to be overripe. And we had 3 overripe bananas, so I decided this would be a wonderful time. So you're going to take your fork and you're just going to mash it, and it'll turn into like a liquid kind of So just keep mashing it. See, it's starting to turn more into like a mash. Make sure there aren't any chunks. Like, there can be little chunks if you like chunks in your banana bread, but I don't really like that. See, it'll be like a scoopy banana breadness. I'm gonna still mash it for another minute or so, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So this is what it looks like when I'm done. Here, it turned a little bit more golden because it's been sitting out for like, I know it doesn't really make sense. It was just out for like a minute or so, and it started to turn brown, like not brown, but like a little more golden. But it smells really nice, and now let's add it to the batter. Just to make sure that everything's well incorporated, I'm gonna take my rubber spatula and scrape down all of the sides to get all of the flour incorporated, because this, you want it to be very nicely worked together. But make sure not to do this with the mixer on, so you won't like destroy your spatula. And oh, it smells so good. And you don't want to overmix the batter. Here. It'll look like this. Get all of this off. We'll put it in again, so it's okay if there's still some batter on here. Just there. Okay. Let's add this back in. And then pour the bananas in. I'm actually going to take off my paddle attachment, and I'm going to fold in these next ingredients because I don't want to overmix my batter. So let's take this off. You can use your whisk if you really need to, but I just do not want to overmix this. So here, let's take this off. You're just going to fold it together. Here, like that. You can also stir it. You want there to be bananas in every little piece. There. Like that. So now I'm going to add my half cup of Greek yogurt or sour cream if you're using sour cream. So you're going to scrape and make sure to get it all off, because this is what makes it moist and really delicious, and it'll turn it a whiter color, obviously, since it's white. And we're also going to add our teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm using my half teaspoon, so I'm going to add 2 of these. Oh, I love the smell of vanilla. Okay. And then you're also going to fold this in. You still don't want to overfold, but it's okay. See, it's turning a lighter color already. You're just gonna keep folding it until it looks more like this. I'm still gonna scrape off the sides. And now if you're adding nuts or chocolate chips, you'd add that in now, but I'm not going to. There. Oh, this smells so good, and I keep saying that, but it does. Okay, so now you're going to take over your pan, and you're going to add it in. So I like to pour it in the middle so it'll all spread out. That was the oven, so perfect timing. Okay, make sure to get every little bit. Okay, once I have every little bit, you're gonna level it out so it'll bake evenly. And even though it's gonna be level, when it cooks, it'll come up a little bit in the middle. And last year I made this for my dad's birthday and it was so good. Just saying, it's a really good recipe. So this is important, the leveling part, so it'll all bake evenly. Okay, that looks good. So now we're gonna put that in the oven for an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So the banana bread should look like this when it's done. It smells really banana-y, and like halfway through, you can like smell it coming together, and it's wonderful. So now you know when it's done when you take a toothpick in the center, stick it almost all the way down and pull it up. And if there's anything on it, then it needs to go in a little bit longer. I think it's good. So this was in for an hour, and the recipe said an hour to an hour and 10 minutes, but it's looking good. So I'm gonna let this rest for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna put it on a cooling rack and let it rest for another few minutes, and then cut it up and serve it while it's still warm. So I just put the banana bread on the cooling rack, and it was so easy to take off and flip it because it was already starting to come off of the sides and so the butter that we put around it, and it's really soft and moist. So it's like still very hot, so I'm gonna let it cool for another 2 minutes because I can't wait that long because I really want to eat this. So please like and subscribe. I hope you like this video. And please, you can tell us on Instagram what you think, and you can tag us in the picture. So thanks so much for watching. See y'all later. Bye.